Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jill and I'm an author and artist currently on a mission of getting my creativity back after a pretty bad burnout last fall. If you're just joining now, this is day 8 of my 10-day arc toward that goal, and I believe in my video yesterday I said that I would be doing some watercolor painting today featuring the world's tiniest watercolor set. However, I lied. I don't feel like doing that today, so I've got something else on deck since I don't feel like working in my sketchbook today. So I am going to be working with polymer clay. My husband got me this set for Christmas. It was something I wanted to get back into because I loved polymer clay when I was younger and I was actually quite good at it. Can't say for sure that I'm still good at it now. We're gonna find out, but practice makes perfect. Also, he got me this lovely, there we go, tool set. So I don't know if I'll need all of these. These are real sculpting tools for ceramics as well as polymer clay. But anyway, I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna see what I create today. And as usual, y'all are invited along for the journey. So I'm going to get my overhead camera set up and I will have you join me again at my desk. Oh, say hi to Electra, aka the furry menace. Hi, baby. Man, do we want to get fur mixed into the clay or what here? Honestly. Okay, I think she's settled, at least for now. I don't know, Electra. Can I trust you to stay still while I record? I don't think so. Okay, so I think what I'd like to make today is a sunflower necklace charm. So unfortunately, I don't have any brown for the center, and I also don't have a deep, rich green for the leaves. So I'm going to start by mixing some colors, and I also think that for the sunflower itself, I might like to add a little bit more of a golden color to this yellow. So as usual, everything is an experiment. But hey, it's getting the creative juices flowing, right? So I think I will start by, do I want to start with the yellow or do I want to start with the brown for the center? I think I'll start with mixing some brown, and I'm going to try and do that with red and green. I mean, there's so many ways that you can mix a brown. So we'll just see what results if I try that. And I don't want to take too much because I mean, this is going to be a very small charm. It's weird to me because I used to work with clay so much as a kid. It was literally one of my absolute favorite things to do in my free time, just for fun. I actually got a lot of my friends hooked on clay. Not even joking. Initially, let me get scissors. Initially, I worked with just, you know, run-of-the-mill modeling clay, but I was not fond of how I would create something and then it would just, like, you know, slog because it wouldn't stay firm. Like, the clay was amorphous, so it would just over time sink into itself and my sculptures would get ruined that way. All right, I'm just gonna take a pinch of this and let's see what color, what shade of brown will result. So at the time, I asked my parents about maybe getting me a different kind of clay because I really wanted my sculptures to last. And I remember they got me a clay called Fimo. It was spelled F-I-M-O. I think they still make it. I'm not sure. It was very firm. It took so much more effort to mix the colors and soften it up to the point that once in a while, I think the black one that I had was literally so hard that I would need to ask my parents to do the pinching and softening part for me because my little hands couldn't even work it like this. All right, we've got an interesting little brick color going on. I feel like this needs, do I want to add black or do I want to add a little blue to it, actually? I think actually I'm going to add purple. I know that seems like an odd way to mix a brown, but it's what my instinct is telling me to do. Anyway, Sculpey was sort of the new age thing. I forget when exactly it came out. I think one of my friends had it and I sculpted with it at her house. And then I told my parents, like, wow, this stuff is so much better than Fimo. It's so much softer, it's easier to work with, and there's so many more colors you can buy. So at that point, I switched over. And I remember there was a point at which I had an entire box of, like, just the balls of Sculpey in all different colors. It was like one of those sorting boxes with the compartments. But unfortunately, at some point, I think I just threw that out because, I don't know. In hindsight, I wish I had just kept it, but it wasn't like I had full blocks of clay left. I mean, I used the stuff so much that I had very little of each color left, and so it was just easier to abandon it, and the box itself was very dirty. So I think that's what happened, is I just chucked it out one day, unfortunately, and the hobby went along with it. But I was at a point where I was building my professional career, and then I moved out of my parents' house, and then I moved from New York to Florida, and time gets away from you, and then one day you wake up and you're 41 years old and you realize that you miss sculpting with clay, and so you ask your husband to buy it for you for Christmas. And here we are. All right, this is getting close to the color I want. I want it like a little bit darker and a little bit more, like it kind of has like a slight pinkish tint to it, probably because I based it in red. So I'm gonna try adding a little more purple to make it darker, and then a little bit of yellow just to sort of really get that muddy brown color that I'm seeking. I mentioned that the tool set that my husband got me as well, that could also be used for ceramics, and incidentally, I used to have ceramics tools, and unfortunately I got rid of those too. I think I donated them, or gosh, I hope I didn't throw them out. I probably donated them or sold them or just gave them away to somebody. I don't think I would have thrown something like that in the trash. I mean, clay is one thing because it gets dried out and dirty, but tools are kind of a forever thing. Anyway, I loved ceramics when I was in high school, and it was very, very difficult to get into the ceramics class just because there was so much high demand for it, and I think they could only run it one ceramics course like throughout the entire year. You were either in the class or you were not. It was just offered once a day and that was it. Unfortunately, my high school was one of those that didn't have a lot of budget for the art department, and I believe they limited to only one ceramics class per year because they didn't have enough money for the supplies. And case in point, I remember it was my senior year when I finally got into the class, because the seniors, of course, had priority, and we ran out of clay, just like entirely. So it was a ceramics class without any clay. But that was actually where I learned most of my skill in like real bona fide ceramics. I did not like throwing pots. I only did hand building. I found throwing pots to be insanely frustrating. I tried it a few times. I made the most lopsided, awful looking bowl you can imagine. And for some reason, my mother still wanted to keep it, but to each their own. Anyway, I much preferred hand building. I made some really nice pieces back then, glazed, painted, everything. But again, because school budgets are what they are, at least in, public school in the suburbs, we had issues with the ceramics glazes in that, they weren't the color that the containers said they were, or they were just, they got very contaminated because unfortunately students were not very careful with stuff like that. So a lot of times I would just glaze my ceramics in clear and then bring them home and paint them, I kid you not, using nail polish. But it was actually just, I don't know, I didn't like taking the chance on using the real glaze because it could literally ruin the entire project and then there was no turning back on it. All right, enough about my ceramics class. I'm getting really close here to the brown shade that I want. I think I just want to get it a little more orangey. I don't know if you can see it in the video. I'll try to hold it up close, but I don't want the camera to go out of focus. I'm basically just kneading this a little further until the swirl goes away. I can still see a swirl of yellow in it, and I want it to just be a little bit darker. I'm hesitant to add black because anytime you add straight up black pigment to anything, whether it's paint or clay or whatever have you, a little can go, well, a little goes a long way, and a little too much just goes way too far, way too fast. Okay, I'm gonna take a chance though. I'm gonna add just a tiny, tiny bit of black to this. Interesting. These came in the box set, and the lines are horizontal, and this one came separate and the lines are vertical. Go figure. All right, I'm just adding this much. Either way, I'm going to have excess brown clay after this endeavor, which is fine. I have to figure out a way to store these because I don't think I want to keep them in the original packaging, but I'll figure that out later. All right, we're getting there. I'm gonna add a little more. I'm getting a little more confident as I go along with this. Don't worry, I'm gonna clear the workspace slightly after I get this mixed. Again, it probably doesn't show on the camera, but I can see that there's still a black vein running through this, however subtle it is. So I'm just gonna keep going until it's gone. Okay. All right, I like this. I like this shade. Yeah, that's a good shade of brown. It's nice and it looks like chocolate. That's what I was going for. I basically wanted it to look like chocolate. In fact, this looks like a Christmas chocolate ball, like the little foil wrap ones, you know? Anyway, I don't want this to be, I don't want my sunflower to be that big, so I'm gonna just take a little piece. I really have to decide how big I want the charm to be overall, because I don't really want a particularly large necklace charm. Okay, I apologize because this is brown on brown right now, but here we have the little center to our sunflower. I should get a little scooper so that I'm not bending the clay with my fingers every time I pick it up. Okay, I actually want this side to be outward facing because it's nice and flat now. Is that even? I'm very picky about these things, so don't mind me as I nitpick my way through this project, please. Like, see, I dented it there. Now I have to re-roll it. I have to try and keep my hands centered, and I purposely lined up my computer so that I could use that as my gauge for centering. All right, here we go. All right. So I'm gonna set my brown clay aside. I'm debating, do I wanna make this more golden or leave it as is? I think I want it just a little bit more golden colored. I'm just going to add the tiniest bit of red to my yellow here. And by tiniest bit, I do mean tiniest bit. Also, I'm realizing my desk has a lot of nail polish drips on it because I do my nails over my desk a lot. I should clean that. I'm not sure yet if this is looking a little too orangey for me. I think it is. I'm going to add more yellow. All right, we're close. Definitely close. I think I'm actually going to set some of this aside and add yellow to just part of it because I don't want to keep diluting my yellow more and more. And as always, I save my color scraps. So again, I'm gonna figure out a better storage system for my clay after I make this video, because I always liked to just save the little bits of mixed colors that I would make. I would always find a way to reuse them or to just mix them again. Okay, I think I like this shade, so we're gonna roll with it. Oh yeah, that should be good. And I'm going to build off, this is gonna be the back side of the center of the flower, so I'm gonna build off that and then eventually flip it over. I hope I can pull that off. I think I should be able to. It's not really sticking on this desk surface. I remember that when I was young, I mean, I had the same desk, oh gosh, I think I took over this desk when I was maybe like 16 or 17. So I remember working on this as a surface even back then. Also, I'm debating, do I have enough? You know what? I'm just gonna mix all of it together now. Anyway, I remember using this exact same surface for clay when I was much younger, and it always did me right. Like something about the sheen of the desk. I forget what this kind of surfacing on wood is called. I mean, this desk is from the 1940s, if not earlier. But yeah, it was always very friendly to my clay projects because nothing would stick to it. Okay, this color is still plenty good for what I was hoping. So I'm just gonna get some of these out of the way so that it just looks a little cleaner as I work. All right. Now I need to make some petals. I'm gonna try and divide this all evenly into like 12 little balls and go from there. I feel like 12 is a good number of petals to attempt. Okay guys, I had to unexpectedly pause because of my husband took a phone call in the background, and I actually wanted to ask him about something that was going on, so I am back now, but I apologize for the break in continuity there. I am trying to record in such a way that you see everything that's going on. So I think I only made one little ball off camera. How many did I end up with here? Let's see. Got 13, so I've got 14. One of them's a little bigger than the other, but that's okay. I don't know if I'll need all of these, so we will find out. Oh yeah, I got 14. They're all pretty even actually. Okay, so sunflowers have oval petals, so I'm gonna figure out how best to make the shape that I want. Oh, that works. That definitely works. I also sort of run the risk of, you know, if I make them too flimsy, they can tear or bend in ways I do not want. All right, again, this is all just a matter of getting my skill back, because I swear I used to be so confident in everything I did with clay, and now I feel like I said, like everything's an experiment, and I hope it's coming out well on the recording. Hope you can see what I'm doing. And now I basically repeat this same step 12 times. It almost looks like a tiny banana right now. Also, this is going to be a rather large necklace charm, so maybe I won't turn it into a charm. Maybe I'll just leave it as a flat piece. It can be, I don't know, maybe I'll make it into a magnet. Maybe I'll just make it something that I can stick on the side of my desk. Either way, we're having a good time, aren't we? And that's the whole point. This would be a good size for a keychain, but I feel like this is too delicate to be banged around on my keys. Like, I abuse my keys pretty badly. There are certain things that are just not made for delicate items. And anything in my purse, I don't know. I don't know if other women have this problem, but I bet they do. But I abuse my purse pretty badly. I do not carry an expensive bag because I bang it around. I throw it on the floor sometimes. I don't know. It's like, it's just not my thing to be delicate with my purse, and it never has been. So anything inside is subject to that sort of mistreatment, shall we say. So I feel like if I turned this into a keychain, it would suffer damage very quickly. All right, so that's the first layer of, I'm gonna actually reattach this one if I can. Can I? All right, I'm gonna pop this one off entirely, but that's okay. I just wanna get that one a little further in like the rest of them. I don't know why I switched that out. Never mind, I'm gonna stick with it. I do sincerely apologize if I accidentally go off screen with anything. I promise you that's not my intention. All right, do these look pretty evenly spaced? I think so. All right, time for layer 2. And again, this is the back side of the flower, so if there are a few little flaws on it, that is okay. They will get hidden. The objective is to make the front side look as perfect as possible. We can hide the little tiny foibles in the back. Now, if you're following the whole video series, you may notice a theme going on here because I definitely put a sunflower in my drawing yesterday. That was kind of where I got the idea from. I was like, I'm gonna make another sunflower. This petal didn't come out right. I'm gonna redo it. But I was like, I'm gonna make another sunflower. I'm kind of stuck on that theme right now. Maybe it's because it's winter, and even though it's Florida and we still have plenty of flowers going on around here, we do not get sunflowers, at least not native. I guess people grow them, but more likely to see wild hibiscus bushes growing. No complaints there. I love hibiscuses too, but I don't know. Sunflowers don't really speak Florida to me. little guy. I'm actually flanked by cats right now. Electra's sleeping on the floor kind of down this way. And Cheddar is over that way, but he's not settled right now. He's kind of just thinking about what he wants to do. All right, I have to say, to quote Celine Dion, it's all coming back to me now. This is feeling pretty natural as I move forward. So despite the fact that this will not be the intended necklace charm, I nevertheless like where this is going. So, that didn't shape out right. All right, the last one. I'm going to set my unused yellow aside with the brown. It's off camera, obviously. And then I just have to make some leaves, and then we'll turn it over and add some detail to the front. I'll just seal that off there. Okay, now I want to add some leaves and a stem. Let's bring back our green here, and I want to make it a bit darker green. So I'm going to add in some of this teal color and see what happens. I don't have a dark blue either. I have this shade, so I'm like, do I want to add the blue or the teal? I think I want to add the teal. I feel like otherwise it's just going to make more teal, you know? So let's see. Let me get my scissors again. Oh, hello, Cheddar. I'm not sure you can see him yet. He might be just off screen, or, oh, there's his, I'm sure his head's in now. Hey, little guy. Let's just not step on the flower, please. Thank you. Keep it moving. Thank you very much. All right. Oh, he's knocking the clay balls to the floor. Little guy, why don't we settle on the couch for mommy, yeah? If you have cats, you know. Cat's gonna do what a cat's gonna do. Keep it moving, thank you. All right, I think now that he's crossed back and forth, he'll find a place to settle, or he'll leave. I think he's leaving, okay. All right, let's see what color green I can get out of this mix. Ooh, this is pretty. And it is darkening, but not by much, so I am gonna add more teal right off the bat. Gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry for how dirty my work surface is. It's like, this is not even something I would notice otherwise, but now that I am recording myself working on this part of my desk, I'm like, oh geez, like it really looks dirty. I'm so sorry. I think because the last few times I recorded, I had the sketchbook like right here. So it was literally covering over all the marks on my desk surface. All right, this is significantly different. Well, it is significantly different to me. I don't know what it's looking like on camera because sometimes, like, I work in Canva to edit my videos, and sometimes Canva decides to edit the color of my video on its own. So if it looks very similar, I'm sorry about that. It's just probably the way that the screen is making it look, but to me this looks like a good slightly darker shade, which is what I want. It's actually a really pretty shade of green that made. Okay, so I'm gonna add a stem, and I think I just want to do like 2 leaves, maybe 3, but I think just 2 will be fine. All right, and I don't want the stem to be too long. I'm looking to just sort of make it decorative and then have the leaves sort of connect the stem back to the flower in a way. Well, you'll see what I mean. All right. Is that even? I feel like it's even. I don't want it to get too thin though. Oop, I think I just stretched it a little bit. No. And I want the end to look a little rounded. I don't really want it to look like it got chopped off. All right. This end I don't care about. This end will get flattened into the flower. Ugh, my fingernail just dinged it, y'all. I have to start the stem over, but that's okay. Trial and error. Besides, now that I have the right amount of clay right off the bat, hopefully it'll be a little easier this time around. Okay. All right, I think this is kind of what I'm going for here. It's so, oh gosh, I just dinged the back of this petal a little bit with my fingernail. It is so easy to accidentally do that when the clay is nice and soft and pliable. Okay, now make the leaves. Now, obviously, a real sunflower, the leaves have the little stems coming from them that connect them to the flower stem. I'm sure there's a biological name for the little piece that connects the leaf to the stem. I want to say sepal, but no, I think that's like the small leaves that are like up here on some flowers. I don't, Before I start sounding less smart than a 5th grader, I'm gonna just abandon that idea of trying to figure out what that part of the flower is called. I'll look it up later. Sorry about that. Actually, I think for this one, I am gonna make a tiny connector piece. Because again, it'll look a little weird from the back, but on the front side, it should look okay. Hopefully, hopefully. I feel like that's how girls approached their hairstyling in the 1990s and early 2000s. It was like, as long as it looks good from the front side, who cares what the back looks like? I don't know. I'm from that era where we all put the little butterfly clips in. There we go. Okay. All right, moment of truth. I've got to flip this little friend of mine over. I am so scared to do this on the recording. Also, do we all hear the meowing? That's my kitty cat with his plush rat in the background. Oh gosh, how am I gonna do this? All right, is it gonna lift? Will it lift for me? I feel like the center is what's stuck. And I don't want to stretch it too far. Oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? Got it. Okay. Whew. That was scary, you guys. That was scary. Okay. So I am going to disappear for a quick second because I need to get a baking surface for this and I don't want it to meld into the desk again. How am I even liking this? Let me think about that. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my foil. So I think I'm gonna make my last few minor adjustments. Ooh, I'm sorry about my head getting in there. I'm gonna make my last few adjustments and tweaks with it on the foil because the foil can obviously go in the oven on top of the tray. This is where it gets really precarious. And also, I don't know if I like this stem part or that leaf. I feel like I just want to take that part off, honestly. Oh, did I just wreck everything? No, we're good. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I like that better. I like it with just the one leaf. And I think what I'm going to do now is add just a little bit of texture detail. I'm going to flatten her out a little bit though. All right, what tool is going to be best to make my lines with? Is it this one? No, I think I want to use a very skinny dotter tool. One of these. Let's see, is this gonna work? This is where, again, I'm feeling nervous because I used to do this kind of thing all the time with full confidence and know exactly, exactly what tool to use. And I'm already feeling like, oh gosh, did I just ruin everything? I don't know. However, this is just for me and it's just for fun. Oh, that's not so bad. That is not bad at all, actually. Also, I do have a plan to glaze this with some resin-based nail top coat when it's all done and baked. Electra, you're testing my patience again, Missy. Come on, let's get out of the... Oh, she's also going after the clay balls now. Ma'am, I need you to please get out of the filming area. Express elevator to the ground floor. Thank you. Okay, now. Whew. I feel like I want to get a real X-Acto. No, actually I don't. Let's just try this one. Oh, this works. Okay, this works. I'll say this much, this is not my best work. I mean, obviously when I was doing this on a regular basis, I could produce things that I was more proud of. But for a first attempt of getting back into the craft, I'm not displeased with this. It's a valiant attempt for a first foray back into the medium. And I sure did have fun. Little miss, I need you to stay right there. Also, I dinged this a little bit. Oh, shoot. Okay. It's kind of like when you ding your nail polish after giving yourself a manicure. It's just like, can I fix that or do I have to start it over? Hey, no playing with the stuff. I'm not sure if her paws are still on camera, but if not, she's like literally right there. Very, very much on the scene. Okay, all right. Oops. I apologize if my big head is getting in there while I try to get these last few details worked out. What do you think, Electra? Did mommy succeed? Just trying to make this leaf look a little bit more refined. I think I got it. I think I have this the way I like it now. Okay. All right, we've got a sunflower. What it'll be used for, I have no idea. Kind of debating if I want to bake a one of these things. Oh, hang on, where did it go? When I was gonna make a necklace charm, I actually got these pins ready. I just don't know, is it worth putting a pin on it? Like, I don't know what this could be used for. No, I think it's stuck to the foil now. I mean, I could slide it behind maybe. See, I just don't know. I just don't know. What would I even use that for? All right, I think I'm just going to leave it as a freestanding object. Because like I said, I could turn it into a magnet or just a little desk charm or whatever. Thanks, Electra, for putting the cattail in the middle of everything. Anyway, I'm going to figure out how to bake this. Sorry, I'm literally still fine-tuning as I'm talking, as you can see. Let's see what it says. Okay, 275 for 15 minutes per 1/4 inch of thickness. All right, so this is not even a 1/4 inch thick, so I'm just gonna bake it for 15 minutes and pray for the best. Oh, this little tool keeps rolling on the screen. All right, I think I'm happy with the way this looks, so I'm gonna give it a whirl in the oven and I will return when it's time to take it out. Okay, you know, setting my oven ahead of time would have been a really smart idea. All right, that's just gonna add to my processing time, but that's okay. Okay, here we go. The oven is hot. She's going in. Since she's not quite a 1/4 inch thick, I'm just going to do a timer for 12 minutes. All right, let us pray. Okay, well, she's not burned, so this is good. This is a start. Colors seem to be perfectly normal. All right, so we're just gonna let her rest for a little bit, and then I'll be back to glaze her with the clear polish. Okay, great news. She turned out just fine from the oven. I'm going to keep the foil under her because I'm going to be using Sèche Vite Fast Dry Nail Polish Top Coat. This is one of my older bottles. I don't actually still use this one on my nails. But I'm going to give her a glaze, at least on the top side. I'll try to keep this in camera as best I can because this stuff is pretty gooey. But anyway, I'm gonna see how this works for her now that she's cooled off. This is one of those, you know, have to work fast kind of things. So again, I'll keep her on camera as best as I possibly can. I know she's centered now that I'm starting this. Also, I did not used to glaze my pieces when I was younger, so this really is a bit of an experiment for me to see how it turns out. I also don't want to get her stuck to the foil, but better to the foil than to my desk. So, que sera, sera, right? I don't know why I said that. All right. We're gonna work from the center outward. And overall, I think for a first attempt at getting back into this medium, I did okay. I'm not 100% super stoked with the quality of this sunflower, only because I felt like I was just a little clumsy with it, in the sense that I dinged her a few times as I was working. And if I'm looking at her very up close, I can see all the little foibles, but then when I back away from her, I'm like, you know what? I don't think all these little foibles show as much as I think that they do. And especially, like, who else is gonna be looking at her like super up close, you know? Also, yes, I know I skipped a petal there. I'm very sorry. I was trying to go in order, but I had so much clear coat on the brush that I went for the larger petal next to it. So let me fill that in now. Sorry, I'm just getting a close-up look to make sure I'm coating her evenly. Oof, there's fuzz floating around my desk. I can blame my cats for that, but I love them. So it's okay. All right, I'm gonna switch bottles because that one's getting sticky. Whoops. This particular top coat, unfortunately, usually starts to dry out once it reaches the halfway point in the bottle. So I nevertheless keep them around for projects like this and other things, like crafty things that require clear coating. So I keep my partial bottles, even though, like I said, I'm not using either of these bottles for my nails anymore. If I'm using it for my nails, I need the clear coat to be very, very fresh. But this does, in fact, deliver as promised as far as it being a very effective fast dry coat. Oop, I got a lot on the brush there. Let me see. Yep, see the stem's already dry. Also, I don't know if you guys can tell, but my daylight is already fading. I'm hoping that's not coming through on the camera yet, because I do want to give my usual send-off for the video before I consider myself finished with recording for the day. I think that's the last petal, and then I just have to do the flip side a little bit. Do I need to do the flip side actually? I don't think so. No, I think she's fine as is. All right. Again, I'm just checking, hitting the, getting the light to hit in a way that makes sense to me. So I apologize, knowing that the angle is probably a little funny for you guys viewing. But I think I just want to get a little bit more on the stem. All right. All right, the glaze does make her look a little more polished, literally and figuratively. Yeah, it's pretty cute. I think that'll make a really nice fridge magnet. So if I can ever find a magnet to put on the back of her, I will. Okay, so this was fun. Definitely too big for a necklace charm, at least for me, but I feel like if I made her that much smaller, it wouldn't have been very fun to watch on video. So anyway, I hope you had fun watching. I had a lot of fun making this little piece here, and maybe in the future I'll do some more polymer clay work on camera for you guys. But for now, we've got exactly 2 days left for getting my creativity back. I think it has worked because I'm coming up more easily with ideas of things to do and share with you guys. So 2 more days of that, and then we'll start illustrating the 3rd book in my series, which I'm super excited about, and I'll tell you more about that once I get to the first video about it. So for now, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Please like, subscribe, comment, and if you like, check out my website, which is linked below, and or check out my Instagram, which will be not linked, but noted in the end screen. I'm not very active on there yet, but I will be in the not too distant future. So thanks again, guys, and have a great rest of your day.